Hey, what's going on, everybody? Shane from the Twisted Oak over here. We're kind of starting something new. We're doing an interview session with some of our artists, or maybe all of them coming up. We're calling it kind of the Chill at the Twoakers Lounge, you know. And so this is the first, and a lot of people save the best for last, but we're doing the best at first. And tonight we have John Lee Wyatt playing at our place with his talented musicians that he always brings in here. And so I just wanted to get everybody to kind of get to know John Lee Wyatt and what he's all about and how it all works. Welcome, John Lee. How are you?
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is not your first time here?
No, I believe it's my third.
Third time?
Yeah.
And so he's doing a show tonight at 8 o'clock. We kind of discovered, me and Chris collectively, we used to go to the Dade City Brew House, and I think that's where we first saw you play.
Yeah.
And we were all kind of mind blown at the talent and the grit that you have within your music. The two times you've already played here, it was different both times.
Yeah.
The first time was kind of like acoustic, you know, more chill. The second time, I swear I looked up, I was bartending that night, and I looked up and John Lee's standing on top of our piano. So that was sick. So very, very entertaining. So I kind of want to get to know you more. I don't know you a bunch. Obviously we've met and talked,
yeah.
But I kind of want to get you to know you more and get the people that follow us to get to know you more and obviously promote what you do.
Absolutely.
So first off, where are you originally from?
I'm from Kentucky.
Kentucky?
Yeah.
See, I'm learning something already. So Kentucky, when did you end up in, because you reside here in Florida now, right?
Yeah, I live in Orlando, Florida right now.
Nice.
I started out, my parents did music when I was really young. They were in a band.
Okay.
And that was our whole lifestyle, and we had some issues in our family when I was about 12, and then we moved off the farm and came here to Florida for a little bit.
Okay.
And I eventually moved back and worked on the farm and,
right.
Met some bands, went on some tours, and then eventually landed back here in Florida when I was about 25, I guess. 25? Yeah. And been in bands, met the whole Orlando scene, and been traveling around the Southeast for say about 7 years now.
Really?
Yeah. But coming from Kentucky is great because my parents were, they had a tour bus and, it was beautiful. And going from that and seeing the extremities of, music and how people, well, let me rephrase that, excuse me. Seeing what we were so die-hard about and coming to Orlando where people play covers and, kind of fell into that scene and was very unhappy. Until I found the right people
right.
I'm playing with right now.
Right.
And it changes you, and you get back to doing what you're meant to do.
Heck yeah. So as far as your parents, they were singer-songwriters. You mentioned they had a tour bus. So, did you travel around with them as a kid?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a beautiful experience to have that influence, when you are so young. I was playing drums very, very, very young. My mom taught me how to play acoustic guitar off the first tab sheets. She had these tab sheets, they look like parchment paper. They were so old.
Yeah.
So learning music very young and being around the style of music they were doing it was a show band, and they had one single out on the radio called "Who Shot JR" when the show Dallas was out.
Yeah, I watched Dallas with my grandparents.
My parents was the theme song called "Who Shot JR."
Really?
Yeah.
So, being born into a music family, so it was both your mom and dad that played music.
Yeah. Mom's a singer, dad's a drummer.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was the first instrument that you kind of gravitated towards?
Drums. Dad was a drummer. When we were back home in Kentucky, he would take me down to the basement and teach me everything he could. And, you know, when I was, God, by the time I was maybe 5 or 6, I was back behind him, and he'd already given me his Slingerland drum set that he purchased originally in 1964.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that thing still around?
Oh, I play with it. I gig around with it too. I'm a drummer. So
Really?
I'm playing in other people's bands, and it is so old it becomes a commodity. People are like,
Absolutely.
don't sell it. I'm like, it's dying with me.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny because like I have my grandpa's old '61 Chevy truck, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things. It's like I wish my grandpa was a drummer because I'm a drummer as well, and so it's like, man, I wish I had some old school drum kits, you know, like some old Ludwig kits or something like that. But I don't. I just always buy fresh. But so then you played drums for a while, and then you moved on to the acoustic guitar, you said?
Yeah, I think my mother started breaking out her tab sheets when I was about middle school, getting kind of angsty, you know, straightening my hair and wearing skinnier jeans, you know. And I think my mother took out the acoustic and started teaching me songs about Bread and John Denver and all that. And then I started picking up slide guitar from my dad's sister's husband, Davey Fry, and he taught me all the folk blues really resonated with.
Yeah, my memory of you, which, you know, I haven't known you that long, but you did a gig down here at the Dade City Brewery, and like that's the first time I saw you play slide on your SG, and I was like, holy mackerel, like this guy can play some freaking slide guitar. So it's very, very impressive.
It's just something, you know, when you hear something young enough and you get through all the shitty practice of it, and once you find your note, you're hitting your note, you tend to, you know, really lean into it.
Right. What would you say if you could, and I kind of almost hate asking this question because I've seen you do so much, but if you could pick a genre of what you perform, what do you say it would be?
It's tough.
I know that would be a hard question.
The reason why it's so tough is because it's leaned in so many directions and so many trees that bear fruit. You know, I have a huge love for, you know, blues, folk blues.
Absolutely.
And then I went through, you know, my Led Zeppelin phase and learned how to sing like Robert Plant. You know, that's like kind of what I'm.
Which you sound very much like that guy.
Yeah. And you know, I have in that, but also I have a thing for like really wicked psychedelic funk. You know, like it kind of stems in Indian folk. It's hard to base it. You know, this new album I've got coming out with, you can't. There's so many different genres on it.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a spinning block, you know?
Yeah.
Spin it, you get
Which I can't wait for. So speak about your new album. How long have you been working on this project?
Truthfully, about 3 years.
Wow.
Shamefully, about 5.
Okay, I already got you.
I've been trying to get it together about 5, and it's been you know, I've written hundreds of songs, and I think it took some time to, you know, find the ones that wanted to live together, you know.
So do you think that it took that long to make the choices of what you actually wanted to put it on an album? Because you said, you know, 100 some songs, or it could be more than that or less than that, but like to actually narrow it down to make an album, do you think that's what took the longest part of the process?
Absolutely. If it comes to a place when you're writing a body of work, and I'm sure that authors and artists that paint big portraits on big canvases understand that it takes a while to understand when the colors and the words, the songs want to live together.
Right.
You know, it's 10 songs, and to get 10 children in one house, they got to get along at some point.
Absolutely.
You know? So after a while, you know, it just started narrowing itself down, and a lot of songs are put in and took out, flipped up and turned upside down.
Yeah.
After a while, you know, you just realize that this is it, and it works, and they're my children.
So is this album complete?
The album is done recording. We are in post-production now, so
Nice.
The next process is, you know, it's the first time I'm saying this, feels good. It's going to be on vinyl, which is going to be amazing.
Awesome. So what's the name of the album, and when's the release date?
Transmissions from Sector 13-2. It's a long and wild mouthful.
Transmissions from Sector 13-2.
That's it.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
And when's the release date?
Hard to say. My original plan was to have it right before summer, but we ran into a little issue with putting it to vinyl, so we had to push it back a few months. So
Yeah.
ideally, and hopefully in either right before fall or right when fall hits.
So this year.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Is there a certain, and this could be a broad question too, and maybe a little bit more difficult, but like, is there a certain approach that you take when you go towards writing a song?
It is.
Or is it maybe something that happened that day, or maybe something that you're kind of been living on in the past, or like how do you approach a song? And I'm sure there's 100 different answers to that.
I think the most respectable one, and there's a few not respectable ones, you know, the Drunken Night, you know, the Heartbreak song, you know, the ones that come easy, but it's the ones that find their unique way to you. Those are the ones that are the weird ones on the album.
Right.
The title track, Transmissions from Sector 13-2, came to me in a fever dream.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, do you want to explain that title?
Absolutely. That's the title track of the album, and it's the first song on side B when you flip the record over. Track number 6. And I had a fever one day, and I was watching The Martian, and I started getting to think about David Bowie and when he was going through the process of writing Space Oddity.
Yeah.
And then I thought to my first time that I really listened to Space Oddity when I was a kid, and I thought it was such a sad song because he's got to say goodbye to the world.
Everyone.
And he's drifting off into space.
Yeah.
And those lines of ground control to Major Tommy Circuit's dead, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
The reason how I came up with the theme of that is as if he survived.
Right.
And he's off, and he's the greatest pioneer that this world has ever seen because he's drifting on into this, you know, the cosmos. He's the ultimate pirate, and all the while he's sending transmissions home to his wife.
Yeah.
So I hope that she hears one.
Right.
So
to make sure either he's still okay or still out there.
But he doesn't know. So I got in that frame of mind.
He never gets a transmission back, obviously.
And they're going out and they're not coming back. So I think, to me, I was on a fever and I'd gotten up to use the bathroom and I sat there and was staring at the wall in front of me and composed the song in my head and sat down, got on the synth, got on the guitar, and made this melody, and it just turned into its own ideal, this, you know, dimension I created. It was beautiful.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear it.
I'm gonna play it tonight.
We're all excited because obviously we haven't heard any of these.
Yeah.
And I feel kind of like privileged that, you know, you're going to be playing some of these songs in here in our music venue tonight, and super proud that you're doing it, you know, that because, listen, man, the Twisted Oak Band, we're a Twisted Oak Band, and Chris, my partner, we have, you know, he has his originals and we perform them, but like to write a song is no joke, you know, and like that's why I was kind of asking the question, like, how do you get your start, your inspiration on becoming a song? And I don't care who you are, it's all different stories. It's all different inspirations.
It's all about, I mean, this man's not too bad of a writer. Chris, he's no fool, man. He sent me some stuff. He's a good writer. Check it out, y'all.
Yeah.
But songs, Anthony Cole, my drummer, he used to play in J.J. Gray and Mofo, and Doyle Bramhall. He is one of my biggest acolytes of my life as a musician.
Yeah.
And at some point he told me, you know, the most important thing is the song. You can get guitar players on this stage right here or over in Carnegie Hall that will play a guitar over a singer and they're not playing for the song. But until you understand that we as musicians can't do anything without the song, we're just up there.
I know you've played drums. I know you play synth. Is there any other instrument in this world that you would still love to learn?
I'd really like to play flute. And it's because I anytime I hear, Kofi Burnbridge that played for Tedeschi, Derek Trucks, Tedeschi Trucks, he passed away a few years back. Every time that he plays the organ and he sneaks that flute in, it's just something that happens to my body. It's visceral. It's something that calms me down. It just puts me in a place and it's used in so many different cultures. I love the sound of it. It's the perfect sonic sound to what I'm used to. Flute would be great.
Flute?
If flute players want to give me lessons, hit me up.
But, hey, so John Lee Wyatt and the Fam Band, they're getting ready to go on stage over here at the Twisted Oak. I want to say I appreciate you guys coming. I appreciate that you're putting yourself out there and like just telling us a little bit about you and how you came about. And I would obviously love to talk to you more about the trips with your parents and stuff like that. But that's a longer conversation.
We'll talk later on.
But hey, I want to thank everybody and thank John Lee Wyatt and the Fan Band for coming out. Check out the videos. Please check out his new album coming out this fall. And thank you guys very much.
Oh yeah.